There is a knot of bone on my right collarbone the size of a walnut. The corner of a bed rail box sits in that exact spot. You carry it on the right because the left hand works the door. 14 deliveries a day, 6 days a week, 3 years. A doctor at the free clinic said it was permanent. He asked if I wanted something for the pain. I said no. The something costs money and the pain is only at night, so I cannot sleep on that side, which is why the 2 blankets on the floor of room 211 were not folded even. They were thicker on the right, packed up under the shoulder. I did not do that. My son did. He is 6. I asked him about it once, in August. I got it wrong.
Bud, did you fix the blanket?
No,
Ollie.
I did not fix it. It was already like that.
He set it to the wall. 6 years old and already covering for me, so I never brought it up again. I took a photograph of that floor on my own phone, then I handed it up to a judge, on purpose. My lawyer said a court cannot rule on what it cannot see. She was right. It saw it. It ruled anyway. Ida Sowell caught my forearm in the corridor 9 minutes before. Cal, listen. I am saying this once and then we go in. He will ask where you live. You say you maintain a weekly rental at an extended stay property. Those words. Not motel, not room. It is a motel with a hot plate I am not supposed to have. I know what it is. I have been to that parking lot. Here is what you are not hearing. That judge has 9 of these on his sheet today. The only thing he carries out of that room about you is the shape of your sentence. And if he asks a second question, you answer that one straight, and we deal with it. But you do not hand him the worst version of your life in 11 seconds. That version goes in the order. That version follows the boy to high school. I told her I would say it her way. I meant it when I said it. Judge Warren Tibbet had reading glasses pushed up on his forehead. 8 other files sat at his left elbow. The top one was already curling. Mr. Brennan, are you currently employed? Yes, sir. 3 years at the same company. 6 days most weeks. And your residence. I stood up. Nobody asked me to. I have never been able to explain it. I have a job, I said. I just do not have a home. Ida's hand came 4 inches off the table and went back down flat. Nobody in that room made a sound. What is your work, Mr. Brennan? Furniture delivery. What kind of furniture? Furniture. That was the answer. 1 word and we move on. Bedroom sets mostly. I carry beds for a living, sir. He took the glasses off his forehead and set them on the file. I have thought about that more than I have thought about most of my marriage. It is the only part of that morning where a person looked directly at me. Then he gave physical custody to the mother. Kendra's attorney started to say something about transition scheduling. Judge Tibbet put his hand up about 2 inches. Not yet, Mrs. Voss. You filed a supplemental request. I read it. Say it out loud for the record. Kendra stood up in a gray coat she had owned when I knew her. I do not want him changing schools in March. Go on. He has had a lot of things change. I would like the boy to stay where he is until the end of the school year. With his father. With his father. Yes. Counsel, is your client aware of what she is asking? She is, Your Honor. Judge Tibbet looked at me for a long moment. Mr. Brennan, here is my order. Yes, sir. The child remains in your physical care for 60 days from today. I did not say anything. On day 60, you appear here with a signed lease in your name and a fixed residential address. If you do, we revisit. If you do not, transfer is automatic and I will not hear argument on it. 60 days. 60. I want you to understand what I am telling you. I have not decided this. Then who has? The calendar, said Judge Warren Tibbet. The bailiff said my name twice before I sat down. I picked him up from Quarry Hill at 3:10 like every day. He got in the truck and put his backpack between his feet and looked over at me. How was your day? It was all right. Did you do beds? 9 of them. Was the table heavy? There was no table today. Okay, he said, and turned the radio on himself. We drove back to Vernon Avenue with 60 days riding in the cab. Only one of us knew about it. On days 1 to 9. Respondent father is employed full-time and has been continuously employed since the separation. That is line 4 of a 28-page report. It is the only line I would put on a wall. Room 211 is above the Sudsy Car Wash on Vernon Avenue. $329 a week. The wash starts at 6:10 in the morning. The tunnel blowers come on, and the whole west wall goes through you. Ollie wakes at 6:10 every day of his life now, including Sunday. Is it the cars? It is the cars. Can they do it later? They cannot, bud. Can we ask? I asked once. The manager was very nice about it, and the answer was no. The room has one bed and a dresser with 3 drawers that work. A sink. A shower stall with no tub. He is afraid of the shower stall, not of water, of standing up in a box with the curtain closed. So, we do the sink 4 days a week. Saturdays we use the pool at the rec center. There, a shower is a room with other people in it and nobody is scared of anything. I did not know a shower could be a problem until I did not have a tub. Cheryl Dunny runs at the desk downstairs. She caught me buying a plastic tub at the hardware store on day 2. What is that for? The boy, that is a mixing tub. That is for cement. It is the right size. She looked at it for a second. Bring it around back and hose it out first, she said. There is dust in those from the yard. So my son took his baths in a cement mixing tub for 9 weeks, on the floor of a room above a car wash. He liked it. That is the part I did not expect. He called it the boat. I need to tell you about the sheets. Then I will not bring it up again unless it matters. Since Kendra left, he wets the bed. Not every night, 2 or 3 a week. He is 6. A nurse at the clinic said it is the most common thing there is. After a house breaks up, she said it stops. She said the worst thing you can do is make it a subject. So it is not a subject. At 4 in the morning, I strip the bed. I wash the sheet in the sink with hand soap. The laundromat is 2 miles, and I am on the dock at 7. I wring it out on this bathroom rail and hang it over the chair by the window. It has to be dry before 9. Why before 9? Because that is when they clean. We could just say it got wet. We could. From a cup. Bud, I would say it. I would say I did it with a cup. He was standing there in his socks at 4 in the morning offering to lie for me. 9 is when Delphine does the second floor. She is not unkind. She is a housekeeper with a clipboard and a list of rooms. A wet sheet on a chair is an entry. An entry is a note. A note is a thing somebody types. I have thought a lot about whether that is paranoid. It is not. I lost a hearing in March over a sentence in a file. Dad, go back to sleep. Is it the thing again? It is nothing. Go to sleep. I am sorry. That is the part I cannot do. He says it into the pillow, fast, like a boy who has practiced it. Hey, look at me. What? You did not do anything. I did, though. Ollie, I am going to say a true thing. Are you listening? Yeah. There is a sheet, and there is a sink. That is the whole size of this. It is not bigger than that. He thought about it for a while. Okay, say it back. A sheet and a sink. That is right. Go to sleep. He went to sleep. I did not. I sat on the floor with a wet sheet on the chair. Then I did the arithmetic for the first time. First month, last month, deposit, $2,100. I had 411. 60 days is 8.5 weeks. After the garnishment and the room and the gas, I clear about 200 a week, if nothing breaks and nobody gets sick. 200 times 8.5 is 1,700. I was $400 short before I started. Day 3, the shift lead handed me an envelope at the dock. Court thing came to the office. They cannot serve you at a motel. It is not a motel. Cal, what is it? I did not open it. I read the first page standing at the parts bench with the truck running. I read it the way I read everything, which is slowly. That is a thing about me. I will say it once and not make a speech. I read slow. I have said that out loud to exactly one person. That came later, on day 40. Cal, you did not read it. I read it. You read the top of it. I watched you. Ida, I read it. Then tell me what was on page 3. I did not have an answer for her. That was in March, standing in a hallway 4 minutes before we went in. Not like I cannot, like the words come off the page one at a time. The line ahead of the one I am on stays blurred until I get there. I have been like that since 3rd grade. I never told anybody at school, and I never told Kendra. What I do instead is this. I read the first page. I say the important part back out loud. They nod. It looks like reading. Then at night I read the whole thing alone with a finger on the line. That has worked for 29 years. Dad, what does that one say? Which one? The paper you keep folding. It is about the truck. It has a stamp on it. Trucks have stamps. He gave me a look a 6-year-old should not have available yet. Then he went back to his cereal. It stopped working on day 3. The letter had 3 pages. It was from the court-appointed evaluator's office. Page 1 offered 3 dates for a home visit. I got to the bottom of page 1, and I already knew my answer, so I stopped. I called the number and said I was working all 3 days, which was true. The woman said all right and thank you. That was it. 40 seconds. Page 3 had a line on it in the same size type as everything else. Declined visits will be recorded in the summary as declined. I read that page in September. The hearing was in March. Days 10 to 19. The minor child appears well bonded to the respondent father. Day 16. I got home at 9:10 at night from a double. He was still up. He had pushed the 2 blankets into a rectangle on the floor, the way I do it. He was standing over it with a pillow in each hand. What are you doing? Wait. He hit one pillow on the side, then the other one, once each, the way it knocks the fold out. Then he set them at the top of the blankets and squared them up with 2 hands. Ollie, now it is a bed. I put the truck keys on the dresser and did not say anything for a while. Where did you learn that? You do it. When have you seen me do it? At the houses. Bud, you have never been in one of the houses. You told me. You said you do the pillows so somebody lives there. I had told him that. In the truck. Months ago. I do not remember saying it. Is that right? He said. Did I do it right? You did it exactly right. Then somebody lives here, said my son. I want to be honest about what happened next, because a better man would have said something. I did not say anything. I went in the bathroom and ran the water and stood there with my hands on the sink. Then I came out and told him to brush his teeth. That is what I have. That is the whole size of what I had that night. Day 17. I picked up a Sunday shift. Day 18. Kendra called about the field trip form. There is a form. I signed it. Cal, there is a section on the back. I signed the back. You signed the front twice. I stood in the truck yard with the phone against my ear. Send me a picture of it. I already fixed it. I wrote your name and I put my initials next to it, and it is fine. You cannot sign my name. Then read the back of the form, Cal. That is as close as she ever came to saying it out loud. In 8 years, she never once said it out loud, and I never once told her. Day 19. Ollie came out of Quarry Hill with a folded paper. He got in the truck without saying anything. What is that? A note. For me? It is not bad. Ollie, he handed it over. It was from Mrs. Ivers. Ollie has been asking to stay in at recess. Nothing appears wrong. He says he wants to read. I wanted you to know. You are not going out at recess. Sometimes. Why not? He looked at the window. If I go out, I have to run around, and then I get hot, he said. Then at night, I get thirsty. I did not understand it for about 4 seconds. Then I did. Less water in the day is less water at night. Less water at night is no sheet in the sink at 4 in the morning. He had worked that out. 6 years old. He had worked out a plan. The plan cost him recess. He had been running it 2 weeks without telling anybody. Ollie, look at me. What? Do you like recess? Yes. Do you like it a lot? There is a wall you can hit a ball on. I put both hands on the wheel and looked out at the school for a second. Here is what we are going to do. Okay. You go outside every day, every single day. That is not a request. But then there is a sheet and there is a sink. He did not say anything. Say it back to me. A sheet and a sink. That is the whole size of it. Now, what are you going to do at recess tomorrow? Hit the ball on the wall. Louder. Hit the ball on the wall. That is right, I said. Then I drove us home. I have never been that angry at a thing that was nobody's fault. Now day 20. I want to describe the truck because it is where most of that spring happened. It is a box truck with a lift gate that works 4 times out of 5. The cab smells like cardboard and diesel and the pine tree from a car wash I never bought. There is a photograph taped inside the visor. Ollie at 4, at a lake, holding a fish somebody else caught. The door pocket held a court order and a citation, an inhaler, a folded lease application I could not fill out yet. That is the whole shape of a life in one door pocket. Dad, why is there a picture of me in the roof? So I can see it. You cannot see it. It is up. I flip it down at lunch. Every day? Most days. He thought about that a while and said nothing else. That is how you know a thing landed. I have driven that truck 200,000 miles. I have never once driven it home. There is no home to drive it to. Mileage is the only number in this story I never once did arithmetic on. Not in days 20 to 30. Respondent father has one documented performance citation in the review period. Day 23, last stop, 4:50 in the afternoon. A recliner on Hobart Lane. The woman who opened the door was about 70. She had the look people get when the front of the face works and nothing behind it does. Just inside is fine. Where do you want it, ma'am? Anywhere. It does not matter where. I read the house in 4 seconds, which you learn to do. Man asleep on the couch with an oxygen line. Walker at the bottom of the stairs. 14 steps up to a bedroom he was not going to see again. Is he sleeping down here? The hospital bed comes Tuesday. Today is Thursday. Yes, she said. It is. Here is the rule. You deliver what is on the ticket. You do not move existing furniture. A man got hurt in Memphis doing a favor in somebody's house. Now, nobody does favors. Ma'am, is there a bed upstairs with a metal frame? There is a bunk in my son's old room. He is 51. Would you let me bring it down? She looked at me for a second. I cannot pay you for that. I am not asking you to. My hex driver rounded off in February. A set is $19. There is always a week where $19 is a real number. So I did the bolts with pliers and a quarter jammed in the slot for grip. I got 2 pieces down the stairs before the man on the couch woke up. He did not know me. That is the part nobody tells you about that kind of sick. He saw a stranger in his house carrying his furniture. He started calling for his wife, not loud, just over and over. Ruby, Ruby, I am right here. Ruby, who is that? That is a man helping us. Ruby, She sat on the arm of the couch and held both his hands for 11 minutes. She held them the way you hold something that is trying to get away from you. I built the frame low by the front window with my back to them. That seemed like the only decent thing available. Then I moved the mattress. Then I got the sheets from the closet where she told me they were. Then I did the pillows. You did not have to do the pillows. No, ma'am. You are very good at this. I have heard that sentence maybe 400 times in 3 years. It is what people say when a man leaves their house. I did not know that one was going to follow me into March. Ma'am, can he see the street from there? She came around and looked. He can see the whole street. Then that is right. I got back to the yard at 6:20. The on-time bonus that week was $65, under 90% no bonus. That is a rule, not a punishment. The shift lead wrote it up because that is his job. 3 lines. Late return. Unauthorized time on site. Customer property handled outside scope. Ruby Ellard called the office the next morning to say something nice about me. They logged it. It went in the file, 3 lines under the citation. The evaluator quoted the citation. She did not quote the call. Day 26. He found the paper in the door pocket, so I told him what a citation was. Is it a ticket? Sort of. Did you speed? No, I was late. Why were you late? Because a man could not get up the stairs. He thought about that all the way down Vernon Avenue. So they made you pay for helping. That is about the size of it. That is stupid. It is not stupid, bud. It is just a rule. It is stupid, said my son. I did not argue. He was right, and I was tired. Dad, are we going to move? Yes. When? Before summer. To where? I do not know yet. Then how do you know before summer? I did not have anything for that one either. Day 29, I did the number again in the cab. $840. 31 days left. I needed 1,260 more, and I was making about 200 a week. 200 times 4.5 weeks is 900. I was 360 short. That was the good version. Dad, what are you doing? Math. For work? For us. Is it a big number? It is a medium number. Can I see it? I turned the paper over. He is 6, and he cannot read my handwriting anyway. The good version assumed the truck held and neither of us got sick. On day 31, he got sick. Days 31 to 39. Respondent father works a variable evening schedule. It was a stomach thing, and it lasted 2 days, and it was nothing. But 2 days of nothing is 2 days of no pay. On day 33, I took a night unload at the warehouse to make it back. 6 in the evening to 9:30. 4 nights. There was nobody to watch him. Let me tell you exactly what I did. Then you can think whatever you are gonna think. I fed him at 5:30. I put the light on in the bathroom and the light over the sink. I locked the door from the outside with the deadbolt key. I told Cheryl at the desk. I gave her my cell and the warehouse line. 9:30. 9:30. Cal, I am not a sitter. If the phone rings, I have got to answer the phone. I know that. I am saying it, so I said it. Cheryl, if I do not take the shift, I do not make the number. I know what the number is, she said. Everybody in this building knows what your number is. Go on. 3 nights it was fine. The 4th night, a semi turned over on the interstate at Culpeper, and everything north of it stopped. I sat in that traffic for 40 minutes. I called the room phone. It rang out. I called Cheryl. The desk line was busy, which is what the desk line is. I got to Vernon Avenue at 10 past 10. The door of 211 was open about a foot. The light was on over the sink. The blankets were on the floor the way we leave them. The bed was empty. I want to be careful telling this part. I do not want it to sound like more than it was. Nothing happened. I need to say that first. Nothing happened. And I stood in that doorway, and my whole body went cold from the neck down. Ollie, nothing. Ollie, I went down the outside stairs 3 at a time and around the front and into the office. He was on the floor behind the desk with a coloring book. Cheryl's reading glasses sat on top of his head. He looked up. Hi. I sat down on the floor of that office in my work clothes. Bud, you were late. I was. There was a crash on the radio. There was. So I came down. Cheryl was standing by the copier with her arms crossed. He knocked on the glass, she said. That is the whole story. He knocked. I let him in, gave him a Coke. He has been drawing a shark. How did he get out? The bolt turns from inside. It always has. You told me it did not. I told you it locks from outside. It does. It also turns from inside. That is code, Cal. That is the law. I put my hand over my eyes for a second. He was in the lot, I said, for about 10 steps. He was in the lot at 9 at night. Yes, said Cheryl, he was. She did not soften it, and I have never stopped being grateful to her for that. Because here is the thing I understood on that floor, with my son showing me a shark. Nothing happened that night, but I was not there, and I was not there because I had to make a number. And I had to make a number because a court said so. And the court said so because of where we lived. And we lived there because of what I make. You can follow that chain all the way around. It comes back to the same place every time. The chain does not care that nothing happened. The chain only cares what could have. Dad? Yeah, bud. Am I in trouble? No. Are you mad? No. You look mad. I am not mad at you. Then who? I did not have an answer. Not at 10:15 at night on the floor of a car wash office. Nobody, I said. Come on, bring the shark. I turned down the night unload the next day. That cost me $240 over 4 weeks. I did not have it. I have never once regretted it. Day 35, I did the number again. I was going to be 600 short. That is when I called the evaluator's office myself. Days 40 to 48. Respondent father declined a scheduled home visit and did not reschedule. That one is mine. I own that one all the way down. Day 35. I called the office and asked for a home visit. Mr. Brennan, the report is filed. The hearing has happened. I know it has. A visit now does not amend anything. I am not asking it to. Then what are you asking for? I stood in a break room with my hand flat on a vending machine. I want somebody to have seen it, that is all. I want it written down that a person looked. She came on a Wednesday, 11 minutes, 4 sentences. It changed nothing, and it is the one decision from that whole spring I am glad about. Day 40, Ruth Ann Pike, 2-bedroom over the laundromat on Poplar Street, $680 a month, $2,100 to move in. She was about 60. She had been renting that unit 19 years, and she did not waste my time. You are short. I am short. How short? 600. By when? 20 days. She handed me the lease and a pen and folded her arms. I looked at it for a while. 4 pages, small type, 2 columns on page 3. I did what I do. I read the top, I found the number. I turned to the last page for the line. Mr. Brennan, I am reading it. You are not. I am. You have been on page 1 for 90 seconds, and your eyes are not moving. I put the pen down on her table. Here is what 29 years of covering it up gets you. It gets you a courtroom in March. It gets you a line in a report about declining a visit you never knew you were declining. So I said it out loud to a woman I had known for 4 minutes. I read slow. Okay, not that I cannot. I can. It just takes me a long time, and I get ahead of myself, and I miss things. Okay, so if anything in there matters, you need to tell me. Otherwise, I will miss it and sign it anyway. Ruth Ann Pike sat down across the table. Sit down. I can take it home. Sit down, Mr. Brennan. She read me the whole lease out loud, all 4 pages. It took 22 minutes. She stopped twice and said, "That one matters. Listen to this one. Nobody had ever done that for me in my life. Not a teacher, not my mother, not my wife. That is all of it. There is a part about the water heater. There is. It is old, and it is mine to fix, and it is in there. Okay, now. You are 600 short with 20 days. I am not a charity. I have a mortgage on this building. I know that, so do not thank me for reading it to you. I read it because a man who signs what he did not understand becomes my problem later." She wrote a phone number on the back of a card. "That is my cell, not the office. If you get to 2100, you call it. And if somebody takes it first, then somebody took it first," she said. "I am telling you the truth. You look like a man who has had enough of the other thing." Day 44. I ran a bedroom set out to a subdivision on the west side. Nice house. The woman apologized twice about the stairs. I built the frame. I set the rails. I got the mattress on. Then I stood in a stranger's bedroom with 2 pillows in my hands, still in the plastic. I put them down on the corner of the mattress and I walked out. First time in 3 years. I got in the truck and I did not start it. I sat in a driveway on the west side for 11 minutes doing nothing at all. Then Miles Voss called me, which he had never done before. "Cal, I would like to talk without the lawyers." "Go ahead. I know what a move-in costs. I will pay it. Deposit first, last." "In exchange for what?" "For nothing. There is no paper. It is not a trade." "Then why?" "Because I want this over," he said. "I want him to stop watching the window on Sunday nights." I hung up on him. I am not proud of it. I sat there another minute and then I drove to the next stop. But you cannot take a man's money and then fight him for a child. He knew that. I have thought about it a long time since. I do not believe he knew that he knew it. Now on day 50, the night before, I got the file out of the door pocket. 28 pages. I had read it once in March, standing up in a lot. Then I drove around with it for 50 days. I read it all the way through with the dome light on and a finger under the line. It took me 2 hours and 10 minutes, 28 pages. Ida read it in a waiting room in one sitting. I watched her do it. "How long did that take you?" "The report, 20 minutes. 20. "Cal, it is a form document. Half of it is boilerplate." "Which half?" She did not answer. The answer was that she did not know. Not for a man who cannot skim. Here is what I want to say about that document, and then I will let it go. There is not one lie in it. Not one. Every sentence is factually correct. I was late on the 23rd. I did decline the visit. The petitioner does have 4 bedrooms and a private room with age-appropriate furnishings. Every fact is right, and the whole thing is wrong. Ida, is there a place on there for what I do? Meaning what? For the job, not the hours, the actual thing. There is a section called employment. That is hours and wages. Cal, that is what employment means to a court. I wanted somebody to write a second document, same length, same flat voice. Respondent father has hit 2 pillows into shape in 1,600 bedrooms. He has never slept in one of them. There is no line item for that. A court cannot weigh a thing with no line item. I am not saying that to be bitter. I am saying it because it is true and because nobody ever writes it down. I put it back in the door pocket. Day 50, 9:40 at night, I counted it on the dresser in stacks. $1,510, 10 days. Then I looked over at the bed and he was awake, watching me. "What is that?" "Paperwork." "Is it about me?" "Go to sleep, bud." Day 51. Petitioner's residence offers a private bedroom for the minor child. Last stop Thursday, 4:10. A 5-drawer chest. I read the ticket the way I read 40 tickets a week. Street name and cross street. Ridgemont Drive. There are 900 streets in that county, and I have been on most of them. A street name is a street name until a door opens. Miles Voss opened the door. We stood there long enough that it stopped being an accident. Cal, I have a chest of drawers for this address. I did not know it would be you. Neither did I. I can refuse the delivery. He was trying to be decent. He was handing me the way out. If I leave with it on the truck, that is a refusal with no signature. Cal, that is a write-up. I already have one. Then come in, he said, and stepped back from his own door. 16 steps. I have been up 10,000 staircases, and I can tell you the number of any of them. The chest went to the room at the end of the hall, not the master. I remember thinking that was strange, and then I stopped thinking anything at all. There were curtains. There was a rug with a border. There was a lamp on a small white table with a shade that matched the rug. There was a twin bed against the far wall, dark-stained pine, slat headboard, rocket sheets folded down at the top the way you do it in a display room, and 2 pillows at the head of it, sitting square, side by side, seams turned in. Where do you want the chest? He was behind me on the landing. I had not heard him come up. Against that wall. This wall? Cal, the wall by the window. I did not move for a second. Is this his room? Yes. I set the chest down, and I could not make my legs go. I know that frame. It is a house brand. We sold about 400 of them. And I know how those pillows got squared. Nobody squares pillows. People throw them. People shove them against the wall. I put those pillows there. 11 months ago, this house, that room. I carried that bed up those 16 steps in 4 boxes. I built it on my knees on that rug. I hit the fold out of 2 pillows and set them at the head. Then I went down and signed a tablet. Then I drove to my next stop, and I never thought about it again. Cal, give me a minute. Are you all right? I said give me a minute. There was no dust on the lamp. There was no cup on the table, no sock on the floor, nothing on the bed, and nothing under it. The closet door was open about 4 inches. The hangers were empty, except one. That one still had a plastic bag on it from the store. I stood in the doorway of a bedroom nobody had ever slept in. It was made up. It had been made up for 11 months. How long has it been like this? Since it came. Nobody sleeps in here. No, not even guests. No, it was waiting for my son. And 6 miles away on Vernon Avenue, there was a room above a car wash. One single bed in it. He would be in that bed by 8:30. He would take the whole middle of it the way he does. And I would come in at 9 and lie down on 2 blankets on the floor, folded thicker on the right, under the shoulder, because a 6-year-old worked out that I could not sleep on that side. One empty room waiting for a boy. One boy in a room where his father sleeps on the floor. Miles Voss was at the bottom of the stairs when I came down, both hands on the newel post. You saw the room. Whose room is it? Cal, there is nothing in it. Nobody has been in it. It is his. He has never been in this house overnight. No? Then who made that bed? I did, said Miles Voss. 11 months ago, the week it came. I got to the bottom step and stopped on it, so we were about the same height. I built that bed, I said. He did not follow at first. I watched it land on him. Last spring, 4 boxes. It came up those stairs on my shoulder. Cal, I set the pillows. That is why they are square. That is my hands you have been looking at for 11 months. He put his other hand on the post. I did not know that. No, I swear to God I did not know that. I believe you, I said. That is not the part I am asking about. Then ask it. Why is that room ready? Because I hoped. For 11 months. Yes. Miles, you have a wife and a house and 4 bedrooms. You could have waited. No, he said. I could not. And this large, calm man in a good house told me the whole thing in about 9 words. I had chemotherapy when I was 24. I did not say anything. That is all of it. That is the entire thing. Does she know? She knows I cannot. She does not know about the mattress in the closet down there. What mattress? Crib mattress. 2nd year. Still in the box. The tape has gone yellow. He looked up the stairs toward the room with the rocket sheets. He is the only child who will ever live in this house, Miles Voss said. I have known that since she walked him through that door. So you filed. So I filed. For a good reason? No. He said it fast, like a man who had been waiting a long time for somebody to ask. For the worst reason there is, Cal. Because I wanted him. 2 men in a front hall on Ridgemont Drive. One of us carried beds into other people's houses and slept on a floor. The other one owned 4 bedrooms. One of them had never had anybody in it. And up those 16 steps there was one bed that both of us had made. "Sign here," I said, and my hand was not steady, and he signed it. On our days 52 to 59. The evaluator recommends primary physical custody remain with the mother. He withdrew it on day 53. I did not ask him to. There is a version of this where I am generous and he is redeemed and everybody cries. That is not what happened. I pulled it. "All right, I wanted you to hear it from me. All right, you are not going to say anything. Miles, you sat in a room in March and told a judge to compare us. Yes, you knew what the report said before it said it. I did. Then do not call me on a Friday and expect me to make it easy." He took that. He did not argue, and he did not remind me he had offered me money. Withdrawal is not winning. Nobody tells you that either. The order was still the order. 60 days, a lease, a fixed address. Judge Tibbet did not care why the other side went home. Day 54, I had $1,510. 6 days. Day 55, Ruby Ellard from Hobart Lane called the warehouse and asked for me by name. "They will not give out your number. I understand it. Ma'am, is he all right? He died on the 11th, in the front room where you put him." I sat down on the parts bench. "I am sorry." "Do not be sorry. He watched that street for 19 days. He saw the mail come every single morning." "Yes, ma'am. I called the company in March about you. They were very polite. I could tell it went nowhere. It went in a file." "Then I am going to do it again," said Ruby Ellard. "And this time I am going to ask for a name." She sent $400 in a card 2 days later. I called and told her I could not take it. "It is not for you." "Ma'am, it is what the bed cost me. I priced it after you left. That is what a hospital bed rental runs for a month. You saved me one. I have sat on that money since March." "Mrs. Ellard, I am 71 years old, and I do not argue," she said, and hung up. 1910. 2 days. I sold the tool chest out of the truck to a man at the yard. 175. It was my father's. That is a sentence I am going to leave right there. 2085. Day 59, the shift lead came out to the dock. He handed me an envelope with $15 in it. "What is this?" Everybody put in. "Who is everybody?" "Do not make it a thing, Cal." I called Ruth Ann Pike at 6 in the morning. That is a bad time to call anybody. "It is Cal Brennan." "I know who it is. It is 6 o'clock. I have 2100. There was a silence, then a sound I did not expect. A woman on Poplar Street laughing. "Well," she said. "All right then." Day 59. I asked Miles Voss for the thing I wanted. We met in the parking lot of a hardware store, because neither of us wanted a house involved. "Say it." "There is a bed in a box at the warehouse. Twin. Same frame." "Okay. I am buying it with my discount. It goes up an outside staircase on Poplar Street. 19 steps, metal, and it turns at the top." "Cal, what are you asking me?" "To help me carry it up." He looked at me across the roof of his car. "Why?" "Because you are going to be in his life a long time." "That is not an answer." "Because a man who wanted a son that badly ought to carry a bed for one. Once." He put his hand over his mouth for a second. "That is all I have got," I said. "It is not forgiveness. I am not there. I know you are not. Sunday, wear boots. The rail box will find your collarbone." Now day 60. Address of record. 2 Poplar Street, Upper Unit, Bell Ridge. Judge Tibbet read the lease and did not make a speech about it. He signed something. He set a date in June. He told me to sit down. After 60 days, that was all it was. The apartment smells like dryer sheets on Tuesdays, and it is not quiet. The second bedroom is about the size of the truck cab. Sunday, 2 men carried a bed up an outside staircase that turns. One of them learned what a rail box does to a shoulder. We did not talk much. That night, after everybody was gone, I put the mattress on. Then I got the sheets out of the bag. Ollie stood in the doorway of his own room and did not go in. "Whose bed is that?" "Yours." "Where is yours?" "In there, in a bed." "Okay," he said. "Good." Then he took the 2 pillows out of the plastic. He hit them once each and set them square at the head. I carried beds for a living. That night I carried one home.